So yeah, any questions?
How did you come up with the name Motus?
Okay, excellent question. Motus. Motus is actually first it was going to be called Promotion. I went through about 3 different designs before I actually come up with this particular one. Motus is Latin for motion, and Mots, M-O-T-S, is French for words. And because you're travelling around the ward, it's words in motion. And Motus was like a nice owl, so that was the other thing. I had a problem with one of the schools. They played the original prototype and it was very, very boring. And they said in the letters one day, I was driving home, I went past the petrol station, that was too expensive. Went to the next one, I thought, hang on, I'll go back to the other one, it was cheaper. So I go back there, got to wait, went through some letters, put it back, went home, went for a bike ride because I was so frustrated, couldn't think. And then all of a sudden, I had a epiphany where, hang on a sec, I saw a bird flying. And then up at Mum and Dad's on the sideboard, there's all the graduations with all the people in their cloaks and their mortarboards and their gowns. I thought, that's it, the logo, it's a bird, it's a Motus, it's an owl. The only problem I had is I had to ride 5 k's home before I could start writing all this down so I wouldn't forget any of it. But that was just out of frustration one day, that sort of part gelled together. I asked people when I play the game, which direction's the board? Which way did you go? And everyone goes, well, you go clockwise. I said, no, you don't. It's anti-clockwise. The first rule in the game is the person that throws the lowest number on the dice starts the game. There's a reason for that. I'm setting the seed so as you go, hang on a sec, I want little numbers because while I'm on the board, I can collect more letters. Once I'm finished, I can't collect any more letters. But those on the board can still take mine. So I'm setting the seed. For an example, go back to the start. I would do that because by going back to the start, I now have a chance to pick up extra letters. Okay? So using lateral thinking, you get more letters. You can get too many letters and you have too much information in front of you and go, well, where do I go? You know? As I said, it plays really, really well in teams. Kids love it. But that's what it was designed for. It was designed to fill that gap because there is a problem that needs to be solved. A lot of schools at the moment, in the secondary schools, are dropping their reading standards to lower book standards. It's called dumbing down, which I hate, because the kids can't read them. They were struggling with the really good books, and now they've had to go down this. So in high school, you have our 3 students, you have the accelerated kids, your mainstream, then you have these kids that are struggling. Well, these are the kids that will excel at this, and by the time they will improve, so they'll become mainstream. These kids that they call slipping through the system or through the cracks they can't follow them are very clever because they hide their disability every day. And by this game, they can use that skills, they can improve themselves, and all of a sudden, away they go. Well, the other day, a bloke was telling me about this kid, 15, struggles canting. He didn't have to take off his shoes and socks because he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's clever. That's lateral thinking. Now, these are the kids that we've got out there we need to improve. So that's the reason why I created Motus. Said 4.5 years. And so that's it, yeah, basically, yeah.
How have you gone about controlling your supply chain logistics in terms of the number of board games you ordered from the manufacturer versus your sales?
Okay, right. At the start, I've ordered 1,000 games, and I've had to get it manufactured in China. Unfortunately, when I first did a prototype, I couldn't even buy a Quattro fold board in Australia, not even for $100 each blank. I had to go to America to get those. So I had a manufacturer in China to make the game for me, and that was all right. There was no problem. I trusted him. He was quite good. We engineered a few things which improved. He said, "Jack, you're missing something. The rules." I thought, well, you've got everything. You could go elsewhere. I said to him that I hadn't completed them yet. I've actually rewritten those 5 times. There's a typo here, a typo there. Being a word game, you can't have that. So I produced these here. I also shrink wrap them here, so I quality file. I can check them as I go. I can also personalise them. I put stickers on the games. So the kid can have his name on the game and it's personal to him and whatever. That's basically all I've done this stage. The marketing side of it, as I said, I've got about 6 shops, so I just keep a track on those. The large manufacturers like the Hasbros and the Scholastics don't touch any new product at all until it's been road tested and successful. And thousands of mark. Once you sell 1,000, then I'll start to talk to you and say, okay, we think you might have something. As I said, there's a stigma attached to word games, because if you can't spell, you can't play. And a lot of people would like to play. A lot of the research that I've done and interviewing people, I said, you've obviously got a reading problem, a literacy problem. Would you like to have that fixed, or would you like $1 million? I said, I'd like to fix this. Why? Because I can make $2 million. Because they're clever, they're smart. It's just that, I mean, some of the amazing stories, I know a mechanic that has trouble, the wife does the books. A real estate agent, I don't know how he gets around it, but he can't read. He sells houses. How clever is he? How could he be, if he could read, he'd be a lot better.
I thought about putting it on a disc so people can read the instructions.
I could do that, yeah. The website has a lot of PDF downloads where it teaches you how to strategise and score sheets, so that you never have to purchase ever again. You just download these off the internet. Everything's on the internet, so they're downloaded. So putting it like this, well, this is good, yeah.
I can't read. Who reads the instructions for?
Parents do. This is the beauty of this game too, is that Grandpa and Papa can play in Italian and make up Italian words. The kids can make up English words, right? And then they can cross-reference and check, right? As I said before, with my niece, I would read out the instructions. Grade prep were playing it, and the teacher just said, well, if you land on green, you get a green card. And then she stopped and said, right, now these are all the letters that are on the board, let's make some words. And the kids say, oh, look, you make this word, this word, this word. She found after a couple of times, the kids wanted to read the instructions. They'd excelled, they've gone past their point that they weren't supposed to at that stage in their literacy. So they moved on faster, because the other kids helped them. I mean, another school, the guy in grade 4, he plays as one team. He has 5 kids in that team, the green, the blue and the red, or what the case may be. And he'll go through and he'll say, like, here's the strategy. I have to show you a vowel. I've got an E, I'll put it down here. Remember where I put it. That's called strategizing, where I put it. One kid goes the other, give me the strategy bloke. So he's watching that card. So they're working as a team, and then all of a sudden the teachers say, right, we're stopping it today, we'll go back to it later on. I know they wrote me a beautiful letter, and that was kids in grade 4. Grade 6 is excels. But that's basically what it's all about. It's about getting kids to talk, communicate. iPhones are really bad because one person plays it and no one else sees it. This is where you have to socialise and to talk. Australians aren't big in board games, Europeans are, because we have really nice weather. When they have winters, they'll play 3 or 4 games a night just to entertain themselves, so they don't watch DVDs. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, any questions? One last question?
Yeah, I've just got one. Teachers and educational organisations are always performance-based, and if you've got data and whatever on, how do you quantify, kids' improvement if somebody is playing the game?
Well, it's up to the teachers. The teachers know which kids can read and which ones can't. And they can see the improvement of the child having a go. The beauty of this game is that if you misspell a word, there's no punishment. I would rather you misspell a word than the teacher go, oh, hang on a sec, we have a problem, I before E with this student. And then they can go through their education side and say, it's I before E, except for the letter C, etc. So that's how the teacher can find out where the kid's at and how they're improving, because I encourage you to write down the wrong word and then we can fix that word. Right?
The outcome would go on their report.
Exactly. Exactly. Like you might know or not, but when you read, you take in the first and last letter. It's called grouping, right? And the letters in the middle can be mucked around, and you can still make out that word, right? And that's why the spelling, the teacher said, oh, it's all right from the bad spelling because we know what they're saying. And that's important because they're saying something. We can also improve their writing at the same time. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Peter.
What's the retail price?
All depends where you buy it from. Some are $49.95, some are $45. If you want to buy some tonight, I can give them to you for $30. That's not a problem. But yeah, that all depends where you buy it, who you're buying from. I've turned around to the retailer and said, this is what I've got for you for. Whatever you think you can sell it for, that's your kit, you know, because they've all got different margins and things like that. So that's, as I said, that's much. I've got plenty of cards, yeah.
Okay.
No worries.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, we have to wind it up now. Oh, quickly, one
Just
more.
a quick one.
Quickly.
What were you? What was your profession before you?
I'm a printer.
Still current, not
Printer. I'm still a printer. Long time ago, printing, instead of going for a pay rise, we were going digital ties. I said to the boss, can I have a Mac instead, so I can learn how to do digital plate making.